They told me that I couldn't go into the place where I keep all my gear to collect it unless I had a face mask. So I got a face mask to go collect it. So I'm abiding by the law. I'm not spreading diseases, or I'm not doing anything. So they won't complain when I walk in today and I'm wearing this mask, because I did exactly what they asked me to do. I got a face mask. There you go. Now, yesterday we had that whole, this whole corona onicles. it's it's evolving into this fucking whole other chaos magic paradigm around us, within us, sublimating us, and so on. And it's fucking incredible to watch, but it's also challenging as well. The energy yesterday was absolutely fucking toxic, from all those Black Lives Matters marches and all the riots and all those evil black squares that people were putting on their social media pictures. That was just yesterday. That was what that was like. The sort of like racial politics coomers having a no whitey fap day. They'd be all, that's what that was. It was purely bizarre. Especially when you think that the black flag, is the original symbol of fascism. But if you read my book Valpurgis Night, as I said, what would happen in 1919 would happen in 1920. It's in the introduction in black and white in that book. You can read it yourself. I'm not making this up. That 2020 would be the pivotal year that from 1919, and everything that's happening, well, not everything, but like so many things are recycling themselves, but in the inversion. You see, think of it as kind of like the elliptical signal, a symbol, the infinity symbol, right? 1919, flip over 2020. 1919, flip over 2020. So all the things that one side of the inversion did in 1919 has now flipped to the other. So what happened in 1919? Well, the Germans had a sense of betrayal at the end of the First World War and didn't get the Germany they wanted, and went into a collective psychic mental breakdown with the emergence of the Weimar Republic. What's happened now? The left wing didn't, this way, stay out of politics. The left wing, all of it. The left wing, it's profane and unclean. The left wing didn't get the world they expected, and they were betrayed by the American voter by getting Trump, and they're in the Trump Weimar Republic in their minds. We had the Spanish flu from 1918 to 1919 as a global pandemic. We had the COVID-19 flu from 2019 to 2020 as a global pandemic. We have Antifa marching in the streets carrying the same flag, more or less, flipped around, of an original fascist flag, which was a black flag with the fasci on it and the axe head pointing this way. If you look at the Antifa flag, it's black with the two flags like the axe head pointing that way. At the end in 1919, we had the freebooters and the Reds fighting in the streets. We had yesterday and all this last few days in America, the freebooters and the Reds fighting in the streets. We had a situation where law and order broke down in 1919 Germany. The situation is now broken down in 2020. We had the martyrdom of Rosa Luxemburg, and we've now had the situation in Minneapolis, a martyrdom. We have people divided onto two sides, although one side is making most of the noise and doing most of the active fighting. The Reds in Germany in 1919 were basically not particularly vicious in the German ones. I mean, they were basically trade unions and people trying to restore social order for the unemployed. The problem was is when they brought in Russian Bolsheviks. So Russian Bolsheviks came in and set up the Munich Soviet, and that's what that's what caused the freebooters and the Free Corps to descend upon. The inversion has happened now. You have the freebooters at the left. The right wing hated the Jews back in 1919 and blamed all the problems on them. The left wing today hates the Jews and blames all the problems on them and Zionism. You have a situation, so that's the inversion is flipped. It's remarkable when you start looking into it all. You had in 1919 a situation up until those points a belief that the right wing controlled the paganism through things like the Armamentist movement and Ariosophy, and now you have the left wing who think they have magic on their side, using it from the Trump binding spell and all this on all these so-called pagans and heathens and even Satanists throwing their in with their whole lot in with Black Lives Matter and the warrior left wing. Both the left and the right using magic and particularly paganism for their political purposes is extremely profane and extremely unclean. No real pagan or real magical word uses their magic for political gain, because to use it for either the left or the right is black magic. Now with Keck and 4chan, that was not about those Kekistanis using chaos magic to get for the Republican Party and Republican philosophy. It was purely to make sure that a psychopathic mass murderer by the name of Hillary Clinton didn't get to destroy the world. It was done for the Republican Party. It was done to get rid of her. So that was not profane and unclean. They were not fighting for the Republicans. The left wing today who attack Trump are fighting for the Democratic Party. Therefore, and the left wing ideology. Therefore, their magic is profane and unclean. And like what happened with the right wing, who when they appropriated paganism and magic in the early 19th century, the early 20th century, they will be destroyed by what they're doing, because paganism and magic supersede and existed from a time before political philosophies were invented. So to apply political philosophies which are inherently disruptive and unnatural, you cannot have a balanced force inside a political ideology, because it's directly concerned with one end of a spectrum. Therefore, it's in total violation of the balance of natural law, either left wing or right wing. This is why you don't bring your political views into the magic circle. You can't. It's a corruption. There's no balance there. None. Zero. None of you have a dogmatic political opinion and you're using the magic for that purpose, you will die. It's as simple as that. You will have your April 30th, 1945 Walpurgis night moment in the bunker of your own. And I've been telling people this for years. Keep your politics out of the magic circle. Keep it out. It does not belong there. Like Max Factor doesn't belong in your tractor. It's the same thing. There's certain things you do not impinge upon the certain identities. Now, then we have the thing of like, this is what all the people don't know what gender they are, or they don't have proper relationships with anything anymore. We have people watching porn, very Weimar Republic. TikTok is very, very Weimar Republic, and so on. And again, it's the left. It's the left who are on these sides. And so here we are. And that book, I mean, I said that 2020 would be the pivotal year, and it is. So, I mean, it wasn't that I have this magical psychic power. It's just that I've spent a lot of time trying to understand the cycles of consciousness. And there's a 90, the number 99 comes up over and again. 99 moons, 99 years, and so on. 99 menstrual cycles, 99 seasons. They seem to be a flip over, and that happens, and an inversion takes place in a very alchemical way. And so, yesterday, because of the application of religiosity with coupled with fake virtue signaling by everyone putting those black flags up and creating ostensibly a Masonic checkerboard on social media. Interesting, eh? What happened was the toxic energy yesterday was utterly appalling. Nobody had a good day yesterday except black magicians. Nobody. It was a horrible day yesterday. Both my washing machine and my dryer broke down yesterday. I spent all morning, that's why I'm covered in muck, fixing them. I got them repaired, and it felt absolutely amazing. You know why? Because it wasn't yesterday. Yesterday, the air was stagnant. It was hard to breathe. There was a sense of nothing was happening. Today, the winds are blowing. That means that all that trapped stagnant energy caused by the black squares has been released, and all the phony emotions caused by the fake virtual signaling has been released. Now, I know there's well-meaning people who made a black square yesterday and think they're doing the right thing. There was lots of well-meaning people who got caught up in the Third Reich, in the Bolsheviks, in Pol Pot's world. You just, observe, but don't get involved. And like I said, in a few years' time, I could be going after the other side for this. It constantly shifts and changes, and to nail your colors to a dogmatic mass. That's why I absolutely believe that chaos paganism is the ideal system for the age. I'll put the link to the chaos paganism page on my Moss Upon Stones website below. It's what you need to survive these things. You cannot be fixed. Dogma is the enemy of the soul. And politics does not belong in the magic circle, either right wing or left wing. All you have to do is look what eventually happened to the Third Reich. It's going to happen to all these left wing socialist druids, cosplay druids, Wiccans, all these types. They're all going to find themselves destroyed. They will have their Walpurgis night moment. On April 30th, it happened when it happened. Uh, I I feel blessed to be me. Now, I don't mean that in a narcissistic sense. Now, I've gone through all the stages of my life, and right now, it's at the stage where I can really view the world as a piece of clay that can be molded. Now, chaos magic is real. I mean, my Walpurgis Night book proves it, because I was the first person to write about the occult emergence of the Third Reich from a point of view of a person being an occultist themselves. And the book is also a grimoire, because every chapter having had heading, I incorporated sigils into it. So in the style, in the manner of Austin Osman Spare. And so the book is a grimoire as much as it's a historical document. And I was the only one to actually do that. I'm not aware of any other magical practitioner who's done that. They're all either journalists or so on. I wasn't aware of that. So there was lots of books on Nazi occultism and Third Reich occultism, but I wanted to put my stamp on it, because one, I wasn't going to sit there and say evil, evil, bad, bad, evil, evil, bad, bad. I was going to report it as objectively as I could, while also pointing out the evil on the left-wing side that during those times. At the same time, incorporating magic sigils into it, and the fact that look at the introduction. I was in a highly magical state when I wrote that book, and it wasn't that I made or predicted the future. It's just that I became quantum entangled with today, 2020, and I was writing the survival manual in many ways. Basically, what happened if you read Walpurgis Night and you watch the world today? You should be put into a neutral state where you're not left wing, right wing, caught up in either side, looking for like, for instance, things don't. I mean, people say, well, when white people are murdered by colored people, why don't we march in the streets? We shouldn't do that for even that either. because to enforce yourself upon racial politics is black magic. It's black magic, because what you're doing is you're amplifying the diversion. That's what you're doing. The sorry, not the diversion, the divergence. You're amplifying the separation. You're amplifying. The purpose the the alchemical concept is to reduce everything down into the prima mater, into the aqua nostra, the purest form of matter, so everything is beyond everything, and the last state before that is hermaphrodism. Now, to enforce to enforced extremes, or to enforced dichotomies within your magical life, is to amplify the diversion. So therefore, if you're marching, if you think you're a witch, or you're a magician, or a magical worker, or a chaos magician, or a Satanist, or a Luciferian, and you're tying yourself to Black Lives Matter, or Antifa, or the social justice warrior movement, what you're doing is you're creating imbalance, because you're throwing your psychic energy towards one thing, not standing back from them, being of this world, but not of this world, riding the charge. When I wrote in sorcery, put a saddle on the devil's back and ride it, I didn't tell you what direction to ride it to. I just said ride the horse. Ride the horse. Ride the devil's back. But don't tell the devil go here. Don't tell the devil go there. Look at the devil in the tarot. He's standing in the middle of the dual concept of male and female, the anima and the animus. He is not working to move to one side or move to the other. He is in the aspect of the chariot in many ways. He's on the middle path. He's being guided by the natural law. When you try to take the devil and move him to the left or to the right, to one side or the other side of the dualist concept, what happens is this balance is toppled, and then you tumble into psychosis, chaos, addictions, mental illness, and disturbed behavior. This is what's wrong today. This is why you cannot bring your magic into a political philosophy. You just can't, because you will be unclean and profane and subject to natural law. And that subjection to natural law, and this being unclean and profane, what that's doing is it's robbing you of the ability to develop your charisma. Your charisma. So therefore, you're incapable of being within the ballet of satires, using the absurdities of the age to overcome the absurdities of the age. You know, the, this is so important. And he's a nice fella and everything, but he said, "No way, fucking way, Thomas. I'll get into trouble if you come in without your mask." So they take the piss. He'll laugh when he sees this, but they take the piss out of it, and I got that mask. Suddenly, the energetic elements is broken, and the tension connected to it is broken. Like the joke I told on Facebook yesterday, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna go. I'm in solidarity with Black Lives Matter. I'm not going to go down on women anymore, because that's white boy shit. That was a complete joke. I didn't mean it. But instantly everyone burst out laughing. It broke the tension of a horrible toxic day. Just like this mask will break the tension of a horrible toxic thing I have to do just to get my stuff. I'm not on the left, I'm not on the right. I'm in the middle with a saddle on the devil's back. Take care of yourselves. Bye bye.